warning, nervous disposition, you want to stay away. I'd say this is a high-end 12A. We get bones crunching, we get blood, we get stuff, which again, it's not my job to spoil, and so I won't spoil. Hello, this is Simon from Film Stories. I have just got back from seeing Jurassic World Rebirth. Not Jurassic World : Rebirth, Jurassic World Rebirth. It's directed by Gareth Edwards, it's written by David Koepp, and it stars Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, Rupert Friend, Manuel Garcia Rulfo, and Ed Skrein. And I mean, it's... Where do you sort of begin with it? So Jurassic World Dominion was a bit of a mess of a film, really. I mean, we've seen a few films along those lines. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire is a good example. Let's get lots of generations of people together from previous casts and the current cast, mash them all up, fashion some plot that brings them all together. In the case of Jurassic World, have a 3-film arc about Chris Pratt building a shed. Anyone remember that from the Jurassic World films? And I mean, Jurassic World Rebirth faces down a couple of things. Number one, how do you follow up the end of Jurassic World Dominion, which left things, spoiler-free, in a place? Secondly, what do you actually do with the fundamental Jurassic Park, Jurassic World formula? I mean, we've been seeing this since Westworld, Michael Crichton's original sci-fi movie about a theme park going out of control. And I think it's fair to say the best Jurassic Park / World films involve containing dinosaurs in a park, putting humans in the midst of it, and all peril just kind of breaks out. The more ambitious narratively ones, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, very ambitious narratively, falls short as a film, I think, but some really striking and interesting stuff in it. Jurassic World Dominion, all over the place narratively, trying all sorts of things. I think it finds its feet in the last half hour or something like that. But Jurassic World Rebirth, I mean, it doesn't bring back any of the cast, but crucially, it brings back a writer. It brings back David Koepp, who wrote the script to the original Jurassic Park. And it's a film that came together quickly. Now, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. But I mean, a year and a half ago, we didn't know we were going to get a Jurassic World film in 2025. And so the suspicion is it's a little bit rushed, but actually, no. I didn't get that sense from it at all. Now, it's directed by Gareth Edwards, who's got form with big creatures, with his Godzilla film, and also his breakthrough movie Monsters. More recently, he did The Creator as well. And what you sort of get with Jurassic World Rebirth is a homage to a lot of Amblin Entertainment films, a hat tip to other franchises. And I kind of reconciled by the end of it that Gareth Edwards, a hugely talented filmmaker, was approaching this with a view of, I'll never, for instance, get to make an Indiana Jones film. Let's bring in some bits from Temple of Doom and Last Crusade and perhaps mix those in. I'll never get to make won't name the franchise, but one of those films. So let's bundle some of those in as well. You remember the start of Temple of Doom where there's a vial just spinning out of control, and can they go, yeah, let's throw that into the mix as well. And then in the midst of it all is effectively 2 camps of characters. So you've got the requisite thing that a good Jurassic Park, Jurassic World film needs, which is a corporate bastard. Now, we last saw a half-decent corporate bastard in Twisters. I think the Jason Statham headline movie, The Beekeeper, has the best oily example of one in recent times. In the case here, we get Rupert Friend on very fine form, a representative of big pharmaceutical companies. And he outlines, after an intro sequence, the basic plot of what we're doing. He recruits Zora Bennett, played by Scarlett Johansson, who in turn brings in Mahershala Ali's Duncan Kincaid. And the idea is, there's a bit of the world where there's dinosaurs, and we need to extract stuff from 3 different dinosaurs, 3 different MacGuffins, to make some revolutionary breakthrough medical thing that can treat things and make a corporation billions and billions and trillions, in fact, trillions of dollars, all the dollars. And so you've got this massive corporate blockbuster that's wrestling with the idea of, is it ethical? And also, is it right that big pharmaceutical companies control everything, all the while throwing in dinosaurs and people running out, blah, 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 blah. So I write loads of notes. So I came out, and I mean, just a flavour of the notes and the things that I was writing. First of all, I've got an awful lot of respect for any film that brings in old-style CRT monitors. Do you remember in the first Jurassic Park film as well, where they use Unix as the operating system? I'm going very nerdy. Well, early on, we get a little bit of a check disk thing running when a computer goes wrong. I really like stuff like that. And also, I mean, one of the things that kicks in very early is a sequence involving a family, the second group of characters. So we've got Ruben, we've got Teresa, we've got the gold, actually, who is David Wakono, who plays Xavier, who is the boyfriend, and at first the unsavory boyfriend of Teresa, who's played by Luna, and then Ruben, played by Manuel Garcia Rulfo, is the father of them all. And so on the one hand, you've got that bunch who are off on a boat. Things sort of go wrong. That bunch then cross with that bunch. And so you've got two disparate sets of characters who come together and then go apart. And I won't tell any more just because of spoilers and stuff like that. But what it means is you've got this narrative, which is still fundamentally very basic. Get that. I mean, if you play point and click computer games or anything like that, get that stuff, take it over there. Is effectively the core plot of what's going on. But what's interesting about what David Koepp does is he streamlines his movie stars. So you've got, for instance, Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali, and, you know, great screen presences, and you know, they're putting in their performances here. But because they're movie stars, they have to have probably more backstory than the film really needs. David Koepp threads all that in, but I just kind of pictured a bit where the script came in and the agent said, well, if this character's fleshed out a little bit, then maybe that would be of interest. And the problem is the fleshing out at the start adds about 10, 15 minutes to it. We're not in Mission Impossible, the Final Reckoning territory, where all the fleshing out and the recapping adds an hour to it. But still, there's 15 minutes at the start after, like, a bit of setup, and you're just kind of thinking, I really wouldn't mind getting to the dinosaurs soon, or you know, just something, if you could just spice this up a little bit. And so there's backstory put in there, and we talk about lots of money, and also that threaded theme from Jurassic World about people are getting bored of dinosaurs now. Dinosaurs have been around forever. I mean, it's the thing that's based the Jurassic franchise anyway. It's just like we've sort of seen it. And in truth, you're not going to see an awful lot new in Jurassic World Rebirth either. I mean, I did reconcile on the way out. This is probably aimed more at the 10 to 15-year-old. It's almost like their Star Wars prequels, their first exposure to it. And it's not a criticism per se, but it's kind of, I sat with an audience, a slightly older audience, and I don't think we got an awful lot that we hadn't seen before. What we did get, and credit here to John Matheson, the cinematographer, and to Gareth Edwards, is some interestingly framed and shot stuff that we hadn't quite seen in quite the same way before, particularly when there are moments of where things go underwater. And again, I'm going very, very light on this. And one of the things I thought and wrote down is, first of all, using real locations makes a difference. You can tell you're not on movie sets until you're on movie set. But also, there was just, I don't know, he just shoots it well. I mean, if you're gonna replay the hits, which this does to a degree, it looks impressive. It's good to look at. There's dinosaurs just skimming under the water. I thought, actually, that's really, really good. That's slightly offset when you get bits of blatant product placement. I don't think Snickers come out of it quite as well as they'd hoped. Notice the Doritos, just M&Ms. I mean, you get quite peckish just as you're watching it all. But then eventually it sort of kicks into the Jurassic film that we're expecting. And it turns out to be quite a bloody one. And I mean, if you remember back to the original Jurassic Park, that PG certificate Jurassic Park with no blood in it. And here in the UK, it had a warning from the British Board of Film Classification that came conditional with the PG that I still don't quite know how it got. So warning, you know, nervous disposition, you want to stay away. I'd say this is a high-end 12A. We get bones crunching, we get blood, we get stuff we get stuff, which again, it's not my job to spoil, and so I won't spoil. What we also get, I don't think we get a lot of Peril. Certainly if you've not seen this, if you've seen these films before, you know, you get the cast list at the start, and you're just like, well, they'll be all right. I don't fancy their chances. Not sure I'd book a return ticket for them. And, you know, we sort of know the game. What Gareth Edwards and John Matheson deliver is absolute scale. I mean, terrific. The scale of it is wonderful. I didn't see it in IMAX either. I saw it on, inverted commas, a standard cinema screen. It just looked big. I didn't get Peril from it. That's the thing. I mean, there's a moment in it that makes a T-Rex, or one single T-Rex, as interesting and intense as we've seen since the very first film in 1993. But still, I wasn't getting a lot of Peril from it, because I sort of know how these things are going to go. That thing is either going to eat that thing or not eat that thing. And because you've kind of mapped out the way the characters are going, most guesses I'd suggest would be missed. What is interesting is that David kept script, actually. And let's face it, he knows his way around this stuff. He knows how to replay the hits. He knows to build, right, here's the idea. Here are the sequences we need. 2 bunches of characters. But it's surprising how much its movie stars are actually sidelined. There's much less Scarlett Johansson than I was expecting in the film. There's much less Mahershala Ali than I was expecting in the film. The standout remains David Wakano. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, David, as Xavier Dobbs, who, as comic relief, is really good. I mean, it's a funny film, and I wasn't quite expecting that. But whenever he's on screen, there's a regular patter of laughs as his character develops. And when he's off and it goes all serious again, just like, oh no, bring Xavier back. I really, really like Xavier. There's a lot of talk of money and the cost of things and accounting and corporate accounting. I did write down at one point that this would be Warner Brothers Discovery bosses David Zaslav's kind of film. David Zaslav, the head of Warner Brothers Discovery, who was the bloke who deleted completed films like Batgirl for a tax write-off. I did think part of the script was catering to him. And I think he will get an awful lot out of it. I'm trying to see what else. There's also a moment, actually, that reminded me of, I think it's Scream 2, and this whole idea of, can you sneak past that and do that? And again, I'm going quite light on it, but it's quite interesting from where Gareth Edwards' film pulls its references, whether overtly, deliberately, or accidentally. It's quite a cocktail of stuff. And I was talking to my colleague Ron on the way back. I just said to him, it's just like, there's a bit of me that thinks if Amblin Entertainment closed up and wanted a tribute film, this is the kind of thing. Find our most successful film, weave in some other stuff, bring in other bits of other films, you know, and just put a sheen on it of sorts. And I think that's a little bit of what you get with Jurassic World Rebirth. I wrote down The River Wild at some point, a bit of a lecture on open source. That was unexpected as well. What else did I put in here? Yeah, I can't read that because that's a little bit spoilery, but it sort of goes into some places. And I was reminded that the franchise in the past has had challenges when it comes to how do you make the last 5 minutes in scale bigger than what we've seen before. And I will say, it tries some stuff. I'm not utterly convinced it all works, but it tries some stuff. And so I walked out of the film just like, if you've got a 5-gear car, I reckon this spends most of it in high third or low fourth. I don't ever think it comes close to the high points of where this saga has been. Alexander Desplat's score actually uses John Williams's Jurassic Park music sparingly, and even though we're getting visual cues back to some of the other films, the music sort of steers a little bit more apart, save for one or two key moments. And I walked out the end thinking, yeah, I've quite enjoyed that. Given the ingredients they had, and given the fact that effectively they're doing that thing again of getting some people in a confined space and having them run around for a bit. They made a pretty good fist of this. My companion piece to it would be Jurassic Park 3, but what Jurassic Park 3 had was less money. And as a result of that, it's a shorter film. And it's got problems, it's got flaws, but it just reconciles. We're not going to do much of the sciencey stuff. We're not going to do much of the character stuff. People have turned up to watch 85 minutes or so of running around. And at the core, I think, of Jurassic World Rebirth, that's really what we get. A glossed up version of Jurassic Park 3 that pulls in bits of the Michael Crichton novels that haven't really been touched before as well. But there's a good chunk to enjoy here. I mean, my heart rate was not going at great speed. I think it's a slightly better film than F1, but F1 sequences this summer, for instance, are a bit more pulse pounding once you get in the car. But I also think the ingredients that build up and make up Jurassic World Rebirth are superior to F1. So I think where would I rank it? The first film is still the best one, I think. Jurassic World, I would probably put in secondish, depending. I like bits of The Lost World, actually, before it goes a bit nuts. Then I would put this and Jurassic Park 3. Then I'd put, reluctantly, Fallen Kingdom, because what I always respected about Fallen Kingdom was it took a swing. It took some risks, but I think on the whole, most of the risks missed. And then Jurassic World Dominion, I think, has been the weakest chapter. And I think this is an upgrade on it. There inevitably will be sequels. I mean, this franchise, even if this film bombs, even if you all hate it, this franchise will find a way to keep going. And it's still going to wrestle with, at the start of each project, what do we do? Do we keep it the same formula that works? Do we try and break out and deal with some of the criticism at it? David Koepp is veering that way. He likes the formula that works. He adds a bit of character that doesn't quite pay off, I don't think. There's bits where you're just like, really? But I think it's good fun. I enjoyed it. A perfectly solid 3-star summer blockbuster. I sat in a cinema where the air conditioning was knackered. I didn't fall asleep in the summer as well. So that's an achievement too. Where it all goes next, I don't know. This one, I'm loath to say, it's more than they've got away with it, because, there's a good solid structure to it. It's well made. It's well played. And you have that standout character, those standout performances as well. In terms of where they go next, I don't know. I just enjoy this one for now.